He's too young. We should put him in a Mercedes, put him in a smaller team. He needs experience. Look at the mistakes he made. Here we go, Kimi. Victory.
Andrea Kimi Antonelli might be the revelation of 2026. The young 19-year-old Mercedes driver, who in addition to being the leader of the Drivers' Championship, has 4 consecutive victories and has made a huge step forward in terms of pace in this 2026. And even though the young man has won almost everything on his way to Formula 1, to think that today in 2026 at his age and with only 1 season of experience in Formula 1 he would be performing at the level he's showing is something that definitely few could have predicted, not to mention that it was almost impossible to foresee. This guy has proven a lot in these last races, but being a talented young man, born in Italy and seen as a generational talent in motorsport, I'm sure many of you have wondered, how on earth is this guy racing for Mercedes and not driving for Ferrari? How could a guy with the talent he's shown have slipped through the fingers of the team that shares his nationality? How is it that, competing in Italy and being so talented, after living on Tifosi territory, this guy is now working for one of the biggest rivals of the Red team? Was it Mercedes, Ferrari, or the Antonelli family's fault? Was there really any interest, at least from some people, in seeing this guy wear red? And why his signing didn't happen at the time is exactly what we're going to talk about in this particular video. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video about how young Andrea Kimi Antonelli slipped through Ferrari's fingers. Alright, let's quickly put things into context. Andrea Kimi Antonelli is a young man who is just 19 years old, born on August 25, 2006 in Bologna, Italy. His father is Marco Antonelli, a GT3 racing driver who also owns a team in those disciplines called Antonelli Motorsport. Following in his father's footsteps, from the age of 7, he began competing in local karting championships, racking up wins and results that caught the attention of the racing world in Italy, especially Giovanni Minardi, son of Giancarlo Minardi, who signed him for his development and representation program, Minardi Management. And within that, by competing in karting in Italy, starting to race across Europe and above all, starting to win, he managed to build a reputation. Sooner or later, his talent and results would catch the team's attention. It's a religion in Italy, the Prancing Horse team. Well, this story takes place around the year 2017 when the two finally came together. When Kimi Antonelli was 11 years old, he was spotted by a member of the Ferrari team named Massimo Rivola, who at that time was the director of the Ferrari Driver Academy. So he was in charge of looking for new and young talents who would eventually grow, develop, and represent the Italian brand in Formula 1. Rivola saw him compete and was impressed by his skills, believing that the young man was a huge promise in motorsport and, clearly, good enough to join the Prancing Horse in the future. But his recommendation alone was not enough to add him to the Talent Academy. For that, he had to be accepted by the team leader, who at that time was none other than Maurizio Arrivabene, who had been serving as the team principal of the Italian squad since 2014. Massimo recommended signing Andrea Kimi Antonelli, telling him that sooner or later he would be a big star and that his talent was absolutely worth it. But it is precisely at this moment that the possibility of signing the next generational talent, according to many, completely slips away from the Italian team. It mostly depended on Arrivabene to bring Kimi into his academy. But the former team principal of the team believed that the young Italian, at only 11 years old, was too young to be considered a motorsport prospect, and that he still had a lot to prove in lower categories before even being considered for his team. Basically, Ferrari rejected Antonelli because he was too young to show that he had potential. So with this, Ferrari passed on signing the driver from their own country, only to end up adding to their young talent academy the following year the Russian Robert Schwartzman and the Briton Callum Aylott, who would join Enzo Fittipaldi, Marcus Armstrong, Giuliano Alessi, Antonio Focco, and a certain Charles Leclerc in this team's young talent academy. Therefore, this opportunity for Antonelli to be mentored and trained by a Formula 1 team ended up closing quickly, but in this talent game, a new player would enter the scene who would actually bet on the talent the young Italian was showing. Mercedes, led by Toto Wolff, had also set their sights on Andrea Kimi Antonelli, but unlike what Ferrari had done, they went straight ahead and signed him for their Young Talent Academy, supporting him in 2018 and officially bringing him in during 2019. And the young man responded by winning countless karting championships, and once he moved up to car racing with cars much faster than a go-kart, he almost immediately won everything that was put in front of him. He won the German and Italian Formula 4 championships on his first attempt in 2022. The next year, he advanced to Formula Regional in the Middle East and Europe and won those too. And after this, Toto Wolff decided to move him directly up to Formula 2, skipping Formula 3, and he ended up finishing 6th in Formula 2, even with all the troubles that the Prema team was having. And in 2025, after Lewis Hamilton's departure, they signed him to promote him to the main team, showing the great confidence they had in the young Italian driver. Obviously, a lot of people were up in arms saying that Kimi was too young to debut directly with Mercedes, since he would be promoted at 18 years old without having previously gone through a smaller team. And while many questioned the fact that he hadn't had a decent result in Formula 2, only achieving a 6th place, a lot of people didn't understand what Prema was going through at that time. But basically, this was Toto Wolff's way of making up for missing out on a generational talent. Well, in 2014, Mercedes-Benz had set their sights on a driver named Max Emilian Verstappen, a driver they tried to sign for their Young Talent Academy, but whose signing they had to fight for against the people from Red Bull. And since Red Bull promised him an immediate seat in Formula 1 if he signed with them, Mercedes had to let go of someone who, between 2021 and 2024, won 4 consecutive World Driver Championships. So, with Antonelli, when they had the chance, they decided to go all in on him and at least to prove themselves. The kid seems to be living up to the huge and super risky bet that both Toto Wolff and the Mercedes leadership made by bringing him quickly into the world of Formula 1. Because of this, Ferrari is now watching as the greatest talent to come out of Italy in recent motorsport is succeeding with a rival, all because they thought signing him to their academy at 11 years old was too soon. Although, to be fair to the Italian team, it's very likely that if Kimi had signed with the Prancing Horse team, he wouldn't have had the meteoric rise he's experiencing right now. Unlike Mercedes, they would have made him complete the full journey to Formula 1. That is, after Freca go compete in Formula 3, and once he succeeded there, move on to Formula 2, and once he achieved success in Formula 2, then move up to Formula 1. But with a smaller team, until a few years later, Ferrari would have promoted him to the main team. Well, within the Italian team, they are fully aware that the Ferrari environment is extremely hostile and no other team on the grid has the level of pressure that Ferrari puts on its staff and drivers. Therefore, Antonelli's path to Formula 1 would have been much longer and much more difficult than the one he had with the Mercedes team. So in a way, Antonelli was very lucky to be rejected by Ferrari and picked up by the German team. A team that backs young talent, supports its drivers, and gives them opportunities. And already in 2026, just a year after his Formula 1 debut, Antonelli is fighting for the driver's title. I mean, at this point, we don't know if he'll be able to handle the pressure, maintain his level in the remaining races until Abu Dhabi, or make it to the end of the season in the same condition, but the truth is he's starting to show why he's considered a generational talent. The truth is, to sum it up, Mercedes saw the opportunity, took it, and bet heavily on it. Ferrari let the best Italian representative of recent years go, someone who could have brought glory to Ferrari just like Alberto Ascari did for his country's team back in the day. But unfortunately, now Italians have to watch as this Italian guy shines, succeeds, and stands out in another team that is one of their biggest rivals, even though he was a young talent they had directly in their hands. But because they didn't believe in his talent, now this guy is achieving success in a different team and definitely not dressed in red.
Don't be afraid to go for it, especially in the difficult moments, really trying to keep it cool and still trying to go for it. And if you make mistakes, as long as you learn from them and improve, that's perfectly fine. Of course, stay disciplined throughout the whole year, enjoy it, because at the end of the day, we're driving the fastest car in the world.